Hey guys, Chairman here, back with another feature live match with commentary by yours truly. It's been a while since we've done one of these. I've been very busy, as I am pretty much always, but excited to do one of these things again. I enjoy doing commentary. I think oftentimes I'll listen to other commentary, and that makes me want to do my own commentary because I like to talk a lot, and it's really fun. But sometimes, yeah, just really busy and unable to really produce these on a regular schedule, but I would love to get back into it. I'm generally trying to aim for one of these a week. This is from the shop challenge that we held at King Kong Games last weekend, I believe, and this is the finals. So both players are undefeated as of round 3, and the winner of this will not only walk away with the Kurumi PR stamped, actually, both of them will get the stamp PR, but the winner of this will also be getting one of the Lunar New Year envelopes that Bushiroad has kindly given us. Those things are really cool. Really cool reward for the PR packs. Has the Vanguard Overtrigger and the Weiss generic 2 soul. This is the finals match, Danmachi versus Quints. This is actually a pretty fair matchup, I would say, overall, because both decks can kind of do their own thing without really losing too much to each other. Quints gets that really big board that they get to keep alive using hand encores and stuff like that, but Danmachi has a lot of attack power and can really punch over the Quints boards given the right situation. Danmachi won't really be losing a lot of advantage in this matchup. However, we do see that the Danmachi player has discarded 2 climaxes and attacked with a brainstormer. Not exactly where you want to be as Danmachi. Meanwhile, Quints doing a really strong start here. Already has a 1-1 developed and playing 2 copies of the Riki on board. So I think the fielded Riki just to get the first stock, and then the second Riki in hand right now just to search out something important. I'm expecting something like a James Ironwood here. No, going for the on death? No, that can't be right. I would expect a James Ironwood here or the shuffle back to bounce back to hand if he doesn't have that one already in his hand or in rotation. Those are the 2 pretty common grabs off of the brainstormer. You can also, not off the brainstormer, off the Riki. You can also go for a brainstormer of some sort. That would be kind of nice. No, he does go for the on death. Okay, interesting. On death aqua. So when sent from field to waiting room, pay 1, clock yourself from top deck, and then reveal the next 2 cards from your deck if they are the Quints trait, whatever the trait of this set is. I think it's Quints, but yeah, you can just add those. So good for hand advantage. I guess he is a little low on hand advantage. I would think that if you're low on hand advantage, you could just go for like a brainstorm here instead of this on death aqua effect, but it's not bad. Oh, he's deciding, taking a long time to decide here. This is just turn 2. Oh, goes for the brainstorm. Okay, yeah, see, as I was saying, brainstorm is just as good, I think, in being able to offer you that advantage without having to clog up your board state. Because at this point, like, let's say he has a standby in his hand, he wants to standby out a card to back row, he's not going to lose his board, so there's really no reason to go for the on death beater here, because he can just have better and more profitable attacks. Rather, the brainstorm is good because it'll be in back row and he'll be able to have access to that turn after turn. And I think that's a pretty good idea. So it does feel the brainstorm. You don't need to play the brainstorm right away. It does have an on-field effect, I think, but I don't think it's actually that relevant in this matchup at least. So don't need to field the brainstorm right here, especially if you fear God and think that you have the potential to double trigger standby here. You wouldn't really want to standby both the front row in this specific instance. Oh, does he even, no, he triggers the standby. So if he triggers another standby here, he would get minorly punished by playing that brainstorm this early, but you know, hopefully he doesn't get minorly punished here. And we shall see though. 3 attacks. Okay, it looks like no brainstorm was triggered, which is good. All right, and then let's see what his opponent. So opponent is still at level 0, but definitely should be leveling up here. Danmachi does not need color for their events, which means that, yeah, you put the red in. Is that his only red? Oh my gosh, having a level of Pyongkichi is very unfortunate. You really want all of those in rotation. That's not a good luck for him. But he does have Bell. Bell is the most important character. Bell turns on Hestia Knife, both on your turn and your opponent's turn. Also And oh yeah, okay, good. He has that event to get back the Hestia Brainstormer. I imagine he would probably Brainstorm here. Okay, chooses the knife first. I don't know if this is the correct order. I mean, the order is not really too bad here. I think so. Thinking about the lines here. So the potential of Brainstorming first rather than knifing is the... Oh, so is he gonna not draw ditch? He has a draw ditch on this one. If he he remembers, decides to draw ditch. Yeah, I mean, you just discard that. But yeah, you can only draw ditch on the first event. Once you do that, you miss the timing on the future. If you choose to not draw, you are not able to draw on future events. And so I think the idea for Brainstorm first... Okay, now that I think about it, I think knife first is pretty good, because knife first, the advantage here is that whatever you add, you can use the one stock that you didn't use on your Brainstorm for whatever you add off the knife, right? Which is pretty good. So like in this case, he's going to use that one stock to drop search into presumably a second bell, because he doesn't have any in waiting room. Now the flip side, if you Brainstorm first, the advantage of Brainstorm first is that if you do hit, then you are able to grab what you need, and then you can save the knife, or you can knife for something else. Whereas like if let's say you knife and then you don't actually hit anything good, then but you like mill out a bunch of climaxes, then your Brainstorm is considerably worse, right? Whereas if you Brainstorm first and you don't hit anything, then that gives you the knowledge of like, okay, I have like a lot of climaxes left in deck potentially, and I might not need a knife as deep or as much. And so I think it really depends on his hand. I think in this specific game state, knife first is correct, because it looks like his hand isn't great and he really needed to get extra playable. So here the drop search is going to be really good. Drop search also is able to contend with the Quints board at this stage in the game and would not like in a future stage. So I think knife first was correct here. But there is a trade-off, and Danmachi is all about these minor decisions throughout the entire game. Generally speaking, Danmachi games do take a long time because the Danmachi player is constantly making these choices, not only on their turn, but also on their opponent's turn with counter step knives. So definitely not a deck that you can kind of autopilot. You have to really be thinking and always considering what your deck state is, what your resources are, where your cards are, so that you can get the right cards at the right time. So yeah, not a beginner friendly deck, I would say. You really need to be familiar with it and have a lot of practice with decks like that. So the new Kaguya deck is very similar as well, because it has the counter step knife event. So yeah, generally speaking, if you're new to the game, would not recommend a deck like Danmachi. But once you get used to the game, I think Danmachi is a very the style of deck that Danmachi is very good to have under your practice, under your belt. It's a very nice tool to have. Also to know, like, by playing the deck, you'll also understand how to play against the deck. So I think one thing that like a lot of Danmachi players will do, so we can talk about it on this turn because it's a counter step knife thing. But generally speaking, as a Danmachi player, you want to knife on your last attack or on your opponent's last attack. That gives you the most options and most choices. So if you're playing into a Danmachi player, you potentially would leave your last attack to be a direct or a side, so that they don't get the last attack knife. It's just especially important if they only have one knife. If they don't have one knife, they're very much, how do I say it? They're very much encouraged, or they're much rewarded. It's much safer to use that knife on the last attack. If you use that knife too early, you mill a lot of climaxes, you have no control over your deck state, and you could potentially just eat a lot of damage. Using the knife later means that you can mill as much as you want. Just gives you way more control. So denying the last attack knife is also very important counterplay into Danmachi. And here, the Quints player has the perfect opportunity to actually counterplay that, because he has a direct lane. So it can just push up the 1/1 Nino in the back row, contest the 2 bells on the field, and then direct with just like any attacker at this point. And then that will basically force Danmachi to use knife on the first or second attack, which is not ideal for them. Misses on the Brainstorm, but I think it's fine. Like, he keeps the board, has the back row, and then just can play whatever he wants from hand here. And he is currently behind in damage, but that's pretty normal for standby. And I think if he is able to stick a decent amount of damage this turn, he should be able to catch up a little bit and then obviously stabilize with the board in a winning position. So, okay, it looks like he is pushing up the Nino. I think that's pretty obvious, or that was a pretty... That's the play that everybody could see he was going to make. The next play is going to be the hard one. So it depends on if he has a standby in hand or not. If he has a standby, easy standby to back row. I don't think I would standby to front row here and direct. Seems a little bit unfortunate. He's going to use a rekey effect here. Huh. I'm not quite sure what he's going for. Ironwood? No, Ichika. No, not Ichika. Shuffle back. Okay, that makes sense. So, thinking of standbying to back row here, it seems. I like this play. I mean, again, so like he didn't have the shuffle back in rotation, which means that he's getting it now, which is good. I did say that the previous turn's Riki, if he had the option, he could have gone for the shuffle back instead of the brainstorm here, just to have that. Again, that's like a really important card to always have in rotation. And once you have one of them, you just have it forever because it just keeps going back to your hand. And it's also really easy to get from like a James Ironwood effect. So that's not a, it's not a high priority, but in this case, it seems like he doesn't have an Ironwood in rotation, or maybe he doesn't have the shuffle back in waiting room. I find it kind of hard to believe though. But anyways, gets the shuffle back, so is shuffling back two. Just looks like two random triggers, right? So like a 3-2 Ichika back row and a 1-1 Ichika counter. So it's important that he's shuffling back Ichika names for the brainstorm. Like if you're running the brainstorm, you really want to keep Ichika names in deck so that when you do brainstorm and hit, you actually have surge targets. If he was going for the combo this turn, he obviously would be shuffling back 3-2 Ninos. But if you're not going for the combo, then there's really no point in shuffling back 3-2 Ninos because you don't want those to be in stock for no reason. So, all right, playing. Oh, I see. Paying out the climax. I understand. Okay, so it looks like he's probably going to... Oh, I see. Okay. This makes sense. So he is going to go for the 2-2 combo here. And with the 2-2 combo, he is going to want to front instead of direct. Just directing with the 2-2 in this board state is very bad. You don't want to do like 1-1-3 because that's just asking for the 3 damage to be canceled. You want to do 2-1-2. 2-1-2 is a very nice damage spread here, especially considering that your triggers, which are quite... what do you call it? They are quite abundant in standby. You will be able to potentially do like 2-2-2. Also giving the center slot Krush, very good. Actually, is that really good? I don't know if I like that. He's gonna do it first attack. Okay, I do like it if he does it first attack. Okay, so here's I got a little mini rant here. Here's the reason why it's good to do Krush first attack on center slot. By doing this, he guarantees that his first attack's trigger is clean and that he will not have to pay all the way down to pay out the stock. So as you can see here, saw a climax near the top and was able to mill it instead of triggering it on the first attack, which is something you really want to avoid when you're playing standby decks, especially when you don't have any stock. You want to have some stock in the game. Now the thing here with, perfect attack order by the way, very good heads up play, attacking there first instead of the direct, so denying that last attack knife that I'm talking about. See, if he attacked there, it was a front attack, and we do know that Danmachi player has the second knife, could have knifed, could have not taken that damage, could have canceled with climax remaining in his deck. So see, really good heads up attack order. But anyways, Krush on first attack here is actually very important because you get that clean trigger. But generally speaking, if you aren't really thinking about the clean trigger, you want to do a Krush on a second or third attack so that you can sculpt for the standby to trigger and standby on a later attack rather than the first attack. But there's a reason to do Krush on the first attack so that you don't trigger standby in a situation where you really do want to trigger clean. In this situation for the Quints player, they already have a really solid board. So a full front row of good beaters plus the 1-1 parked and back row. So they're not really trying to get an extra standby, in which case I think it is a good idea to use the Krush on the first attack just to guarantee the clean trigger, because the clean trigger here is way more valuable than triggering a standby, just because they already have basically all they want on the board. Now Danmachi here does field the wealth and have wealth with the Pyongkichi event, so it gives the bell a lot of power. So that bell is definitely going to be punching over that 2-2 Nino. The 1-1s in this matchup for Quints is very strong because Danmachi does not have 1/1s of their own to contest them. And Danmachi, generally speaking, at level 2, most builds are running like 1 of the early play bell. And they're only really running 1 to bottom 2 climax. Oh, that's not a good. That doesn't feel great at all. But it's a search brainstorm, which is good. So he gets to search 2 cards from the fresh deck, which is really nice. If this was a salvage brainstorm, you'd be feeling very bad right now. But it's a search brainstorm, so it's not the worst. Still unfortunate though. Bottom 2 climax. He could have. See, this is why that last attack, that attack order is so heads up, is so important. It's actually a night and day difference of this game. If he had attacked with the front attack on third attack, then the Danmachi player would have been able to use the Hessian knife to counter, would have been able to mill the 4 clean cards off the top, and would have canceled with one of these climaxes, which is huge, right? That's just like a 9-day difference. The Danmachi player would be at level 1 still, instead of being at level 2 and out at least 2 climaxes, if not 3. I think there's a climax in hand. So he's out so many climaxes and resources. Okay, he's gonna think on the second search. Good. Always think. Thinking is good. But yeah, see, like Weiss is just the the battle of these little things, little tiny choices, little tiny optimizations have big results in the actual game state and the actual results. Like it's like such small details that you optimize in Weiss for these big gains potentially over the course of several turns and several like interactions, right? So it's not like one choke point or like, but it's like these small things, and these small things that sometimes matter, sometimes don't, but they all add up. And that's why I love this game. This game's so cool. I'm very excited. You can tell I'm kind of in a very excited mood today. I had a good day today, so kind of shows. But anyways, it is a long game. Both players are making a lot of choices. Every Danmachi game that I've ever watched and casted takes forever. So this is kind of a usual thing. I believe I was judging, because this is a shop challenge. I didn't participate, so I was judging this, and I'm pretty sure they went to time. And yes, this video is quite long, so you're here with me for a little longer, and I am going to. Well, I mean, Danmachi player in a good spot in the sense. Okay, yeah, so he's already out. You can see he's already out 3 climaxes, so at most 5 in deck, not where you want to be. Gets to search all 3 knives from deck. That feels pretty good. And triple bell is great here. Won't get a lot of plus by not being able to kill the 1/1 Ninos, but we'll get that triple knife looking pretty good for the next turn. So in triple knife situations, I would knife like first, third, potentially. In this situation, because you're out a ton of climaxes, I would knife first, third. Generally speaking, you also just knife second, third if you're like compressed. Or I mean, if you're really compressed, you don't knife at all, or you knife last. So it really depends. Hey, whoa. I'm pretty sure that bell's bigger. That bell is huge. That bell is massive. It's plus 4k on Pyongkichi. Please tell me you remember that bell is plus 4k on Pyongkichi. There's definitely a lot of power on that bell. Yeah, that bell's definitely bigger. Yeah, there we go. I was like, there's no way that bell is smaller. Oh, is he gonna side these? No, he's fronting. Is he big enough? Wait, these bells are not bigger, right? They're just 5/5s. No? Bell doesn't get power. Yeah, okay, yeah, there you go. I'm like, these bells aren't bigger. He has to, if he's fronting, he's gonna lose the bells. I would have sided. Okay, so he's gonna side the last one. But see, I think that's already a big misplay. I would have sided both of the Ninos here, because now you're leaving another direct lane for the Quints player to do the exact same thing he did to you the previous turn, which is front direct, and you can't last card knife. Not being able to last card knife is such a big deal with decks like Danmachi. That's why Danmachi is so good at playing this game, is because their Pyongkichis give the bells so much power, and once they start milling, the bells get a lot of power with the firebolts in waiting room, so that they always hit over, and then they're always, even though they're tiny on defense, they're always basically getting front attacks, which means that you can knife, or they're demanding side attacks, and as level 1s, if you demand a side attack, that's -1 soul, right? So that's why like Bell is like the king of this game. Like, that's why Bell's better than Goblin Slayer, right? Goblin Slayer kind of does this, but on offense they're not really that big, and potentially they can't always win board, whereas Danmachi almost always wins board with a combination of Pyongkichi and Firebolts. Kaguya is in a weird spot where they're slightly bigger than Goblin Slayer, which is good because Goblin Slayer is honestly not very big, and they're definitely bigger on defense than Danmachi, but then they're definitely not as big as Danmachi offensively speaking. So it's kind of like a middle ground, but definitely better than Goblin Slayer. I would say Goblin Slayer is like the worst of the Torch, Hestia Knife, Moon Watching event of like the current meta. I mean, obviously Goblin Slayer is like the oldest of those as well. So you know, it has a disadvantage in just being printed in a different era of the game. But yeah, Bell is like the peak. Like I can't really. They would have to print a card that's like more offensively powered than Bell in order for it to be better than Bell. I mean, Bell plus Pyongkichi kills like level 3s for no reason, right? So it's what you want. But in this case specifically, because he just refreshed, doesn't have Firebolts in waiting room, really should have sided the 1/1 Ninos. Unfortunate. We'll see if that punishes him. It potentially could punish, but potentially also not a big deal here. Okay, so Quints player level 2 has a standby in hand, really wants to stand by 3-2 Ichika here. Really badly wants to stand by 3-2 Ichika. If he can stand by 3-2 Ichika, it is really night and day difference, and he has the 3-2 Ichika. Man, what a good player. 3-2 Ichika from here is such a big snowball. A lot of players, Quints players, standby out the back row here. Back row does nothing. Back row gives power and additional soul if you trigger a standby, but like that is not. Oh, wrong attack order. Wrong attack order. Why would you direct here first? Why would you direct? You give him another knife opportunity. You should always direct last. Always direct last. Had the right attack order the first time, not the right attack order this time. And so we'll see if the knife matters here. I mean, he's not attacking for like a lot. Okay, knifing here. All right, let's see it. Okay, can only add this. Okay, if he cancels. Okay, it doesn't cancel. All right. Could have been punished. Didn't get punished, but yeah, always attack direct last. There's no reason for you to. I mean, so like, I guess the thought for Quints is like, oh, my 1/1s, I want them on the board, and then so I'll just attack with the 1/1 last in order to, so that if I trigger standby, I'll standby over the 1/1/7/5 instead of the 1/1 blue Nino. Just direct with the blue Nino then, right? Like, there's no reason for you to be fronting last attack and giving the Danmachi player last attack knife. Okay, anyways, 3-2 Ichika. Why is this better than the other 3-2 Ichika, the yellow black row? Because plus soul is only activated on standby, which is not guaranteed. And then the power, if the power doesn't match up, some matchups the power doesn't matter, and if the power doesn't matter, then it is literally useless. Meanwhile, 3-2 Ichika Changer will always be able to summon out whatever 3-2 you have in your hand the next turn for basically free. So you get +2 stock with 3-2 Ichika Changer. You can summon the back row, and it gives you a heal, and it gives you everything that you need on the next turn for the back row, right? So you get your back row eventually anyways, which is great. You can also standby out the front row. You can standby out any front row you want, or change into any front row you want, get any on-play effect you want. It's just like so much better, and you get the burn. So if you're already ahead and have all the resources, then you just start converting your stock and your resources into extra damage. Get the burn one, changing the back row, get the heal. It's such a big swing, right? So I would say that unless you need the power, 3-2 support Ichika is just the worst standby target. Like 3-2 bouncer Ichika should be your go-to standby target unless on that turn or on your opponent's turn you need power. But I think most of the time you don't need power in Quints because all your stuff has hand on court anyways. So like what are you really needing power for? And it's very easy for you to just hand on court, but it's also very easy for you to like produce another other attackers and a new board with Quints as long as you're triggering standbys, which is all the deck does. So I would argue that most of the time, oh my gosh, dude, Climax is near the end of his deck's cycle all the time is really unfortunate. All right, make sure knife doesn't go back. Knife does not go back. Thank you, Quints player. All right, knife does not go back. Yeah, anyways, I would say that most of the time the Ichika is the back row 3-2 Ichika is the correct play, and only some of the times is the front row Ichika the correct play. That's my call, right? I don't know if that's true or not. I don't actually play that much Quints, so maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. But generally speaking, I think that's where I stand on the subject. Okay, but anyways, Quints in a commanding lead, up 4 damage. Doesn't really have like 2/2s here, surprisingly. But I mean, it is part of like he front rowed a 2/2 and then had the 1/1 in back row and then just let the 2/2 die because he could just move the 1/1 back up to attack with. So not really ahead on there, but has the Ichika. He has the Ichika here, so it's like such a huge commanding position. And Danmachi does not have good reach with their finisher. Hestia kills pretty successfully at level 3. Not 3-0 actually. I think Hestia doesn't really kill from 3-0. Hestia kills from like 3-1, 3-2 a lot more consistently. 3-0 is actually kind of hard, I think, for Hestia. Your numbers don't really line up that well. Well, with triple Hestia, near a refresh, it works out pretty well. So that's basically 3-1, right? But yeah, from 3-0 is not very good. Because you can you can just cancel everything and then take all the burns and you're good. So, alright, so he decides to hard play. He's just going for it? Wow. Okay, well, I would not do this if I was the Danmachi player. I don't think I've ever seen Hestia kill from 2. So, that is very ambitious. That's very ambitious. But we'll see. Hestia does give additional soul to offset the... I guess to increase the odds of the cancel so that the burn 2 will go through. But in this case, like, he just wants the Quints player to not cancel at all, right? Because it's just like, he'd just rather do damage. So I'm assuming he gave the Hestia soul somewhere else. Well, that's good for him. Yeah. So I guess this one, is this one the one that has 2 instances? I don't know where he's giving his soul to. He's communicating it all verbally. Oh, so it's this one. So this one's gonna be for 5. Alright, so 2 instances of cancel burn 2 then. So first instance he takes it. Ooh. Okay, second instance. Cancels that one. Alright. I mean, this is not lethal. This is going to be for 4. And then even if for 5. Yeah, it's still not lethal. And even if he cancels, yeah, just only burn 2 here. Okay, so Quints player's fine. Lives at 3-3. Danmachi player has basically no resources left. Yeah, this seems pretty bad. Although, if the Quints player doesn't have... He's hand encoring? Huh? Alright, I was going to say, if the Quints player doesn't have a good sculpted hand at this point... Okay, so crazy. I don't think I've seen the Quints player play a single James Ironwood this entire game. That's kind of crazy, because I'm pretty sure that deck runs 4, and the fact that he has not played one this entire game, which I'm pretty sure if he had it, he'd play it here. Like, at any given point, like, that card's just so good. The fact that he's not played a single one this entire game is pretty shocking to me. I feel like I've always seen one in his clock this entire time. Oh, he has one in hand though. I mean, I would just play it here, right? Oh, wait, that's okay. Going for the search. Oh, that's a good card. Yeah. So Miku search here gets him another level 3. So he can actually play 3 level 3s this turn, right? So 1 from the Miku, whatever the Miku can search, and then the Ichika can also change into another level 3. It's just that easy. Just full combo here. If he has the combo, not searching a level 3. Does he not have any in deck? There's no way. Why would you not search a 3 here? Okay, I see 1 level 3 Nino in clock. I just have to assume they're all in the bin. That's so unfortunate. Searching an Ironwood here is the peak of unfortunate. Wait, actually, okay, so I don't understand the hand encore then. Yeah, I don't think the hand encore makes sense anymore. I think you would only hand encore here if you really needed to, like, attackers, like your hand is just like non-attackers. But like if you are going to be playing Ironwoods here, why would you hand encore? Because like the one you could just play, it's the Ironwood Nino and the 1/1 serve the same purpose this turn, which is they will lose to whatever 3/2 the Danmachi player has, and they will deal 1 soul damage. They're equivalent. So like if he plays over any card here, the encore was just incorrect, right? I mean, even if he doesn't play over anything here, like the changer should be moved to the front row, and he should be attacking with the changer instead of the 1/1, right? So in that sense, just the encore just makes no sense here. Okay, he's gonna go for the pay 1 burn 1, or pay 2 burn 1. Yeah, so like this 1/1 encore actually makes no sense to me. So now he has a James Ironwood Nino in the back row. But if he triggers a standby, which I'm assuming he's going to because he didn't cancel that much, he's going to have to standby over it. That's just so weird. Right? This encore was really weird. Anyways, long game. And he plays over it. So yeah, like actually no reason for him to have encored this 1/1 Nino at all. Zero reason. He didn't even need to get a target into waiting room here. Huh. That's just straight up -1. Okay, I mean, usually a -1 at this stage of the game isn't that big of a deal. So -1 resources is bad in like early mid game, but at this point in the game, you're just trying to go for damage and like win the game. It is -1 compression, which is the other like potential bad thing. But usually -1 compression is not gonna make or break a game state either. But you know, every little bit counts, right? That's why I said earlier, like if you're playing Weiss, you're playing a game of inches. You're not looking to like hard blow out your opponent with like a crazy move, although you can, that it does exist. All right, but you're really going for the small things here. And in this case, yeah, just unfortunate, a little minor misplays here from mostly from actually from both players, right? The Danmachi did crash that one attack where they really should not have crashed that one attack. And then yeah, Quints player is not playing optimally here. And as we can see, it does not have full combo, unfortunately. Just one burn 3 and the Miku Icy Tail effect. Did also burn 1 at the start, which is pretty good. Cancels, alright. How's the burn 3? Really wants to see this burn 3 stick here. Ooh, does stick. That's pretty good. All right. Okay. Decides to. Icy Tail last here. I don't really know if I like that, but I guess they don't really have too much of an option. Besides that, you'd really want to Icy Tail earlier, I think. Oh, very pivotal cancel here. That cancel is really important because otherwise now the Icy Tail, but without that the Icy Tail would have been very lethal, and now the Icy Tail is like potentially just does nothing here. This Icy Tail will either mill nothing, in which case he needs a trigger. Okay, he needs a trigger now. Or like, let's say if it milled like 3, then he would have what do you call it? Then if that was lethal, and then this actual swing is nothing, right? Although he does get the Crush effect, so Crush here potentially can sculpt him a soul trigger. He's thinking about this one. If it's a soul trigger, you do it just for the lethal swing here, even if it's a climax, I think. Oh, I think that's why he's thinking. Oh, okay, soul trigger. Cancels on 1. Wow, Danmachi player lives. Oh, but doesn't have. No. 3-2 Hesiod's alive. I'm pretty sure, right? No, is he? Actually, hold up. Oh, no. 3-2 Hesiod's not alive. Is this 3-2 Hesiod alive? 9-5? How big is Hesiod? Oh, she's 8-5 defense. Oh, she tiny? Is she only power on your turn? Hestia gets 1k for each of your back row. No, Hestia should be 10-5, right? I'm pretty sure the 1/1 Nino is not 10-5 here. Hestia should be alive. Right? Back row is 2k? I'm missing something? Hestia should be alive, right? Hestia's 10-5. Nino is 9-5. Yeah. Unfortunate. Bit of a misplay here. Illegal game state. I mean, it happens, right? I wasn't actively judging game states. Oh! They figured it out. Nice. Let's go. They figured it out. Yo. Okay. That's good. Good on them. Good on them for actually thinking. Oh, Hestia standing. Nice. Okay. All right, well, that does change things a lot. Because I was saying, like, if he lost all his Hestias, it's kind of rough. Might not have enough damage on board. But yeah, with the Hestia on board, that is two soul beaters, which is excellent for Danmachi player. Does have enough damage on board alongside the bell, the 3-2 bell. Does he have? Yeah, he does have Hestia knife, right? He can pay 1, ditch a Familia, Guild, or Megami trait for that extra burn 1. Maybe that burn 1's gonna matter. We'll see. This is crazy. Danmachi player has lethal on board. Like this, the Quints player is also near refresh, so Danmachi player only really needs to do 3 damage here. Very reasonable. I don't know how many climaxes. Ooh, that is just lethal swing here. Wow, just direct for lethal. Amazing. Is that game? Oh, the last card canceled. That's like perfect. Crazy. Oh, but still pretty good here. He has two soul swings and the burn 1. Oh, it's another lethal swing. Oh, no more climaxes left. Needs to cancel off the top. Wow, what a crazy game. That was very neck and neck. Both players playing pretty well overall, I think. But like, yeah, small misplays here and there could potentially cost the Quints player the game here. The misplays at level 3. Just minusing those resources. A little unfortunate, right? Because like, think about it. If he had one more hand, he could have potentially done. Ooh, that's a good game. Okay, yeah. As I was saying, the Quints player at level 3, since he -1 extra hand by doing the hand encore unnecessarily, maybe he could have done a play where he used the like if he had a second James Iron Nino, he could have actually used the second one to salvage another stock from hand, and then been able to get another level 3 on the board, right? Because he only had enough to do 1 Nino burn 3 and the Icy Tail, but potentially, right, if he had an extra stock, he could have done something that was better, right? So that -1 could have costed him the game. I don't know what his hand was at that time, but honestly, pretty well played overall though. Apart from these like really small, really minor things, I think both players knew how to play their deck really well, played to their outs. It was a really fun game. Pretty high level play. Congratulations to the Danmachi player for taking it, honestly, behind most of the game, but managing to claw it all the way back. Even with that turn early Hestia combo, did a lot of damage to Quints, you know, pushing them all the way from 2-3 to 3-3 or 3-4 or something like that. And that being able to that push on the previous turn, allowing them to make the final push the turn afterwards. So good job, both players. Congratulations once again to Danmachi players. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you guys want to see on this channel in the future. I do deck profiles, gameplay commentary. I'm starting a new series here and there. I just make Weiss content. I also might make other card game content in the future as I'm getting into other card games. But that's it for me this time. Thank you guys so much. I will see you on the next one. Peace.